Hello, dear friends. This is the first time I've heard of a world currency, except for the dactyl. Opinion piece. New world currency. Bridge between two opposite worlds. Before we talked about the Continental Dollar. The rainbow dollar would be called Corona. The full harvest moon is approaching. The money would not be needed in the future. The signs are now everywhere. Let's start. A future universal currency called the rainbow dollar or corona has been allegedly announced by Saint Germain in a message published by Nagari. This new currency would only serve as a bridge between the old reality and the new golden age because the money would not be needed in a few years, according to the message. It would not be that we have nothing, but that we have everything, and that we will also be very happy because there would be abundance with the new technologies that will be disclassified in the future. This is the full message in quotes. The cabal, our old friend, is falling apart with each passing day, and the new energies that enter the planet no longer support activities that do not have a high frequency. Then everything else is left over and collapses. That leaves you with the feeling that there is general chaos around you, but that is also an illusion. Our progress in rolling out Ysara around the world has been remarkable, and despite the thick smoke screens kept silent by the main governments of the earth, there is little left to close the process of the new world currency, with all that it entails. This new currency is deposited in our ships. It will be known as the rainbow dollar, but it will be called Corona. This currency law will only serve as a bridge between the old reality and the new golden age of the planet, because in a few years the money will no longer be necessary and Nisara will be replaced by something more modern and compatible with the new reality called Gisara. Definition. The name Corona has historically been used to refer to various currencies in different countries, such as Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, Estonia, and the Czech Republic. The term comes from the Latin crown, which means ring. In the context of coins, it is believed that the name crown was chosen because the crown that was often depicted on the design of these coins, symbolizing the power of the issuing government. The idea of a world currency refers to the creation of a single currency that would be accepted and used throughout the world as a medium of exchange. This currency would aim to eliminate the complications associated with exchange rate fluctuations between different national currencies and facilitate international trade, financial transactions, and economic cooperation globally. The implementation of a global currency raises significant challenges such as issues of national sovereignty, economic policies, and the need for complete global coordination. Although a global currency has not yet been implemented, the world has seen the adoption of common currencies in certain regions, such as the euro in the European Union, which is used by several member countries as their shared official currency. Previously, there was talk of returning to the Continental Dollar, also known as Fusio Dollar or Franklin Dollar, which was the first coin minted in 1776, after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. On the obverse, it shows the sun shining on a sundial along with the Latin inscription Fusio, meaning flight, and the motto Mind Your Business, which is a riddle meaning time flies, so mind your business. The reverse of the coin features 13 chain links, representing the unity of the 13 colonies. In current state of political situation, it's natural to wonder about the possibility of revaluation. While we cannot predict the future with certainty, it is important to know that VR does not depend solely on political stability. RV, I mean. There are a variety of economic factors at play, such as the strength of the country's currency and the stability of its financial institutions. Furthermore, RV is a complex process involving multiple parties and negotiations. As such, it is difficult to determine a specific timeline of probability for RV. However, we will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as they become available. Rumors. According to DJ, the weekly rumor mill has been active as usual this past week, as it has been for decades. This level is paid and the next level is next. You can't count how many times we have had this. What this post is about. The best thing to do is bring a sense of reality to the event and try to focus on the broader game, not individuals' events. There is not enough printed currency, or it cannot be printed to cover these exchanges. That being said, it is likely to be assumed that it would be a digital currency. It is estimated that there are less than 200,000 metric tons of gold in the monetary system forever, but it is well established that there are huge reserves of gold that never made it into the monetary system. We see this in the verbiage of several historic bonds that are backed by gold. But introducing all this gold into the system at once would render it worthless. Pouring all of these projected currencies into the global financial system at the same time would mean a global economic collapse. Simply put, there are not enough goods and services to buy around the world to support the massive influx of capital that is suggested. Following the suggested steps would allow the slow methodical development of all industries across the board, creation of new or expanded goods and services in technologies, agriculture, construction, and medicine, etc. The last thing to consider is the enormous task of integrating new systems with current systems. That is what we have been witnessing for the last 2 decades. There are so many unanswered questions to the point that we don't even know what questions to ask. Relax, don't get too excited, and wait for the baby. Let him go to term so he can get stronger. Red October. Robert Kiyosaki warns that the hard landing is coming. The dark side will not voluntarily retain power, says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. RFK Jr. promises to consider other options if Democratic Party bosses don't allow a free and fair election. Generation Zeta can't work alongside people with different views because they don't have the skills to disagree, says British TV boss. According to Brandon Stratka, the movement is growing and getting brighter and getting bigger every day. People are starting to realize that they have been lied and are now hearing the truth. The majority is no longer silent and is fighting. According to Benjamin Fulford, something fundamental has changed at the highest levels of power. The signs are everywhere. Rupert Murdoch and Michael Bloomberg resigned, and much more. A big sign of change is the publication of secret documents. Chinese Freemasons say criminal charges need to be brought against officials implicated in crimes. Black nobility families said the people behind it were the chief rabbis of Berlin, New York, and Rome. The President of the UN General Assembly, Denis Francis, approves the declaration to form a world authority with powers to enforce the blockade despite the opposition of 11 countries and without putting it to a vote in the entire assembly. However, the measure is causing much concern among those who understand its implications, such as the president of the Center for Security Policy, Frank Gaffney, who describes it as unprecedented since it doesn't respect the sovereignty of different nations. British judge Kyra McCallum has been dismissed after 20 years of exemplary service, after bringing a case to the International Criminal Court for violations of the Nuremberg Code against certain members of the British government and his advisors. China. China property stocks fall the most in 9 months as Evergrande says it cannot issue new debt. Evergrande debt setback and ocean-wide hit shake China real estate stocks. China bans investment banker Nomura from leaving the continent. Curious. Mexico's controversial alien bodies undergo more laboratory tests. Doctors in Mexico City have performed several laboratory tests on the country's most famous alleged ET corpses as the controversy intensifies. The full harvest moon is approaching on Friday, September 29th. Hold on tight, because the fiery spirit of Aries can sometimes make things seem scarier than they really are. Astrologers advise us to exercise caution during this lunar phase, highlighting the importance of not reacting impulsively. Relationships can encounter turbulence, and under this celestial influence, connections that do not foster freedom and authenticity can find their natural end. Hard times. Buffner said, "These are difficult times, and they are testing the souls of human beings. Those days of yore no longer work or are viable. So pay attention and remember what we are reporting. We can assure you that everything is fine and that a lot is being done. And yet many of you refuse to believe other messages written in large letters. We are aware that a lot has to happen before the beach is a wash of goodness. Just rest assured that you are not losing it. We intend to see this through to the end. We can also assure you that the DS has a lot of parts, but you can play it if you want. Their decisions are not regulated like yours, by values, compassion, or human decency. None of that will achieve what they want. All the people who defend God, life, and love to the best of their ability are going to win this. How soon? It totally depends on the human side of things. A series of new discoveries are developing, and when they are revealed, everything will become very clear. We are more excited about this than we have been in a long time. It is a powerful and difficult time to be on Earth, but you were aware of this before you incarnated. You knew very well that if you decided to incarnate, it would mean descending into a soup of dense energy that would block your memory of who you were or where you came from. You chose to come because you wanted to serve. You knew that the higher resonant state of your consciousness and that of others would add frequencies of truth to the three-dimensional consciousness of the Earth, which in turn would allow access to more and more people. Suffering. We are aware that a good number of you are experiencing feelings of despondency and hopelessness due to the current state of the world, says the Arthurians. We are aware that many of you are present on your planet to witness the anarchy, conflict, and suffering that is currently taking place. We are aware that many of you are reflecting on whether or not there is any possibility for humankind, as well as whether or not there is any possibility for peace and harmony. We are here to assure you that there is indeed hope for the future of humankind. There is a possibility that peace and harmony can be achieved. Indeed, there will come a time in the future that will unite all of humanity into a single whole. We are getting closer and closer to that moment. That moment will come sooner than expected. That same moment marks the beginning of the collective awakening of our people. We encourage you to see this period of transition and mutation as a gift from the universe and an opportunity to co-create the reality you imagine for yourself. You are powerful co-creators of your own experience and have the power to make your hopes, dreams, and visions a physical reality. You are also a component of a much larger collective consciousness that is developing and ascending to a higher level of existence. We want to assure you that nothing happens without purpose and that there is a God-ordained plan and order underlying everything that appears to be in disorder. We declare that everything is changing and developing for the greatest good of all. Together with you, we recognize at the birth of a completely new earth, a completely new humanity. You must realize that you are not traveling alone on this path. You are not isolated from each other, nor are you different from each other. You are all connected to the same network of consciousness, which is the same source of life, the same divine spark, and the same flash of divinity. You are all members of the same family, not only the human family, but also the galactic family and even the universal family. As a consequence of this, your energy, thoughts, feelings, and actions are influenced by those of others. You are all affected by the energy and frequency that emanate from each other. You are all contributing to the creation of your shared reality. And as more of you become aware of your true identity and purpose, as more of you align with your higher self and the plan your soul has for you, and as more of you anchor the higher frequency of light and love on your planet, you will cause a domino effect that will spread to every part of your world. You will create a wave of awakening that will spread throughout your planet. You will create a critical mass of consciousness that will trigger a quantum leap for humankind. You will create a future moment that unites humankind as one. That time will come soon. That moment is what you came here for. And that is why we came to help you. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.